each topic on the agenda and your wisdom in response to each topic presented as they determine policies and decisions that will improve our city of Kennett. May we, the community of Kennett, support our leaders with understanding, compassion, and patience. May our leaders hear our voices and consider our needs. We thank you for your grace and wisdom, which is through Jesus Christ our Lord. Amen.
Amen.
Councilman Gadsden, please pledge.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Well, it's good to see a room full tonight. I'm glad to see it, and hopefully it's nothing controversial, so let's just interested in citizens. All right, so let's go ahead and dive into this one. So we have two sets of meeting minutes that we need to approve one at a time. We'll start with the June 20th, 2023 regular council meeting. So we have a motion.
Second.
We have a second. Any changes? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous. We have a second work session meeting that occurred on July 6, 2023. We have a motion to approve the minutes.
Motion.
Second.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. At this time, as committee and department reports, in your packet, you do see the written reports from each department head, and for the public, the copies are at the podium. If you'd like to review those, you're more welcome to all the paperwork the City Council receives this evening.
You ready to read a while?
Yes. All right, so how about, let's start with committee reports. Mr. Phelps?
Committee report. We have bids on police car that we have, the 2013 Charger. We received 4 bids. The highest bid being Gene Lack at $6,255. We have a bid of $3,301 and a bid for $6,000, and we have a bid for $2,500. So it looks like Gene Lack will be the recipient of that for the 2013 Charger.
Is that in form of a motion?
I'd like to get that in form of motion.
Before we second, do you have you have somewhere you want to put the $6,000?
Yes. We have we don't want to put it in the general fund. What do we talk about, Kenny?
Putting in the equipment reserve fund.
Equipment
When
reserve.
we purchased a new car, we purchased all the lights and stuff out of that fund. In the past, what we've done when we sell a car, we put that money back in the equipment reserve to help pay for all those new lights and console and stuff like that.
So we're not doing the street crowns?
Pardon me?
Not doing the street crowns?
No, under equipment reserve.
We have other money that we're going to put in it.
So the motion is to sell the car for $6,255,
$255.
and then be destined to the police equipment reserve fund.
Correct.
We have a second. Discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes.
Also, we're losing a couple of officers. One of them is police officer, patrolman, and the other one's going to be a dispatch officer. We would like to start the process of hiring a dispatch officer. The police officer at this time, we're going to wait until after the election before we proceed with that. But we would like to put that in form of a motion as well, to explore looking for a dispatch officer. That's going to cut down overtime, and we feel like we're able to replace that position.
And the starting rate of that is?
15.
15, yes.
Okay. So is that form of motion?
Form of motion.
Look for hiring one dispatch at $15 an hour. We have a second for the motion. Second. Discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Yes. Anything else?
That's all for me.
Okay. Anybody else got committee reports?
Yeah. Fire committee met,
10.
10.
okay. And we had been discussing the charges that we give out to people when we go fires, wrecks, whatever the case might be. And I can read all of those, or we can place them somewhere, in City Hall, whatever the case might be.
What are you comfortable with?
That's not what I'm comfortable with. These folks might be asleep and snoring, that way that.
How about we put the bulletin board?
Okay,
Yeah.
that'll work.
That's always open, anyone can look at it.
And, we also had our committee, approved our budgets and all, went all through that, council approved them. There was one, however, that was not turned in to code enforcement, and do we have that?
We had the line item, or the end number.
Bottom line.
What was the bottom line?
We can dig up the book.
Wait. Did that come in a text?
I'm sorry?
I think someone sent the text over here.
$170,000 plus 62 pence. So like 107,000 plus Dennis's salary.
Yeah, okay. 105,704?
185,704?
No, 105,704, yeah.
Okay, we've got something, this is what was turned in, and it's 268.8. And it was approved at 230, but it was cut down to 105,704. And who cut it down?
574.
Well, there's a column here.
Dennis's salary. Didn't work for that night.
And what's the budget supposed to be, 230, 220, or 105,704?
How about we table it for a second? Can we get the accurate information? I don't have the file with me, or else I would pull it out.
Yeah, there was, there were some things that moved to stormwater, some to transportation, I think, and that's what affected where the numbers were allocated.
This was supposed to be, not stormwater, but code enforcement is what this was supposed to be.
Right.
Allow them to get some more information, we'll.
Okay, that works for me, it works for you. Now, Lance,
I just need a line item.
well, Lance has got some.
First, before I get started, one quick question. I know it's on the agenda for the pay. Do we need to do that now or later?
Let's take with the agenda.
Okay. The next question, on the out-of-town fire fees, is that going into effect immediately, or is that the council have to vote on that, or I need some direction?
I think it'd be good to have the council vote regardless. We're out of town now, we're not charging any fire calls in town.
That's correct.
And that's just, our local citizens get that service.
Yes.
Out of town citizens,
Out of town, so the way it'll work, we will post in the morning. I will bring a copy over and we'll post it in the bulletin board out in the front lobby of City Hall. It will give the breakdown of all of the charges for out of town rates, and we are only going to bill the insurance company. The individual will not receive a bill. It will only go to the insurance company. We will only receive what the insurance company pays us, and you will not be turned to collections as in the past.
And that's what this is.
Yeah, and that all is clearly stated in there, but I will get a copy.
and it just covers our expenses. We're not charging.
Correct. They're a lot better than where they were. Yes.
Let's go ahead and make that vote though, to approve the out-of-town charges. The council needs a vote on that.
Okay.
So the motion. We have a motion to approve out-of-town fire calls, charging for out-of-town fire calls.
Second?
Is that fair enough?
Yes.
All right.
And the amount set out.
Yes, names and gas.
Those amounts.
Those amounts that's set out, and we'll have it in public display. We have a motion, we have a second, any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The motion passes.
Thank you. I think that's all I have for right now on that. As y'all know, we've had several fires in the past few months. It was brought to my attention in reference to rekindling of fires. I will let you know the fire department has not responded to any rekindle fires, and the reason that I have not talked about the fires we've had is for a reason I'll get to that in a moment. We have responded to 2 separate fires, which they were paged out as a rekindle, but upon our arrival, on the second call, we found out those to be incendiary in nature. One of the fires we could not prove was arson, and one we did. We've been working very closely with Detective Yates and Chief Wilson with the Kennett Police Department, also with the State Fire Marshal's office on that case. And we currently have 2 warrants for the rest of those individuals for arson. I'd like to say thank you to Chief Wilson, Detective Yates, and Fire Marshal Hammond for all their hard work on that case to bring them to justice. Excuse me. As you all know, we had a large house fire on South Jackson Street, where several fire departments were called in for assistance. The other departments were called in due to needing tankers for extra water supply. With that said, we found out when calling for mutual aid from Arkansas, if you call one department, you actually get 2 due to their policy of automatic mutual aid. Not only did we need the extra tankers for the fire, but we also needed the extra manpower, as it was my understanding it's well over 100 degrees that day, the heat index. So the extra personnel from the surrounding departments greatly helped in rotating the firefighters in and out, allowing them time to cool off and take a break. With that said, I've had several phone calls and read many things on Facebook, and I'd like to take a moment to thank all the fire departments that responded to the fire to help out in the time of need. A special thank you goes out to the city council members, the families of the firefighters, Medic 1, Missouri State Highway Patrol, and the Kennett Police Department to show up to lend a helping hand. Last but not least, a huge thank you to the community as a whole. I've always said the fire department has a great backing in the community, and that this fire it really showed. And I greatly appreciate it, as well as all of my personnel. I'm sure I left someone out, and it's not intentional, but it's my understanding that a lot of people there were bringing water, wet towels, and etc., and I just want to say thank you. This fire is being investigated at this time. As soon as I can release more information, I will. Early Monday morning, we were called to Lapita's Mexican restaurant for a structure fire. Our firefighters made a quick knockdown on this fire and limited the damage to the building. And at this time, that's all I can comment on that, as it's being under investigation also. On the 4th of July, we had 2 grass fires, 2 dumpster fires, and a car fire, and 1 call of fireworks that were a pile of fireworks that was on fire in the middle of the street. They took several, and I don't mean 5 or 6, but like 15 or 20 fireworks, and tied them all together and shot them off. And it could have been a lot worse than what it was, but don't do that, because that changes the class of fireworks and could hurt somebody. But we got very fortunate on the 4th. We sounded busy, but it wasn't as bad as what we've had in the past. I've asked also, last but not least, to give an update on our Station 2 progress. Y'all starting to drive by there and noticing there's some concrete work being done, there's sidewalk being poured. In the very near future, you're going to see some sod placed down. We've been working very closely with MoDOT for the right-of-way. That's the reason they've only poured concrete up to a certain point. They couldn't get out on that right-of-way until we got the current permits, which we are working on that. Anybody's more than welcome to go in out there and look around. I would hope that you wouldn't, because our ribbon cutting tentatively is set for September the 11th at 10 a.m. And again, that's tentative. As soon as we get a hard date on that, I'll let you know. We are hoping to be moved into the facility sometime at the end of next month. So if you have any more questions on any of this, please speak with me. Y'all have anything at this time?
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Chiefs? Carly?
Just a quick update on finances. The numbers that we received in June, or for June, which was the last reporting month for last year's budget, were actually up. The use tax was actually double of what we've been receiving on an average. And that's what the amount of the increase was. We were pretty well on target, but we received over $70,000 for use tax where we've been receiving 35. So, don't know about it. I mean, it's ours, I'm not saying that, but it's a little unusual. But we're, pretty well on target, but it's gonna be hard to give everybody a report monthly because many businesses now are going to a quarterly reporting system instead of monthly. So we're gonna have to watch this for several months to be able to see if we can actually see a trend in that. So, we will be watching it, but, we may not be able to tell you that, hey, this month it was up or this month it was down, because it could very easily be down for several months and then have a big month come in on that quarter. So, just for everybody's information on that. And following on that, something we're gonna have to kind of watch. Chief just reported about Lapitas, but BQ Barbecue's been closed for extended period of time now. We don't know when they're gonna open. John's Pancake's gonna be closed for a month. Grecian's gonna be closed for 2 weeks, and Giorgio's is gonna be closed for a month. So it's gonna be interesting to see what that does to our sales tax over a period of time. So,
There'll be a lot of 100 people too.
I'm sorry.
There'll be a lot of 100 people.
Yeah. I had to buy groceries.
I'm not trying to reach any gloom and doom or anything like that, but, that's a number of establishments that we're not gonna be collecting taxes for.
And you're right, I didn't mean to pull a lot of stuff. It's just- No, you're correct. You're correct.
Yeah.
All right,
HR.
HR, okay.
We have two things to look at tonight in a closed meeting, both of them involving personnel. One is to finish up the issue that we started 2 months ago, and the other one is a new issue, and I'd like for both of the chiefs to stay for that as well. And then just kind of a reminder, we're constantly emphasizing to our employees the chain of command, but I think right now we're having a difficult time following as a council the chain of command, because there's things that are going on that with the different committees that I don't think we're all aware of, and I think we need to make sure we pay attention to that so the committee chairmen know what's happening and everybody's well aware of the situation. That's it.
Thank you. Take a breath.
Okay, you have your action items. So, one of the things the first thing is following through with the former Prince property. We talked about the issues of cleaning up the environmental issues. So we need to put out a bid, request for, and instead of putting a bid out as a request for a bid based on lowest bid of dollars, we were wanting to put out we'd like to put out a request for qualifications so that we select, because this does have environmental issues, so we want to ensure that we do have the most qualified folks to do the job. I have an example, so you can see it's a rather lengthy and involved bid, but with your permission, we'd like to go ahead and get that bid published. We'll follow that 14-day period as usual, and then we can maybe get this project started. So I would ask for permission to publish.
Do we have a
it.
motion for a bid
motion,
for qualifications?
Yes, that would be lovely. Thank you.
We have a motion, do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second, now discussion, anyone have questions? There might be some questions.
Any of you would like to review this, you're more than welcome to.
I guess the question I have, when we talked about it in the work session, I'm not sure we made a decision, was to what level do we want it cleaned? Did we talk about that? Was it just for similar use? Is that, or
Well, there's
do we
two
do?
options, more or less.
Okay, do we do that in the request for qualifications, or is that separate when you ask for the bidding?
That would be separate.
Separate, okay, thank you.
Any more discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right, that's approved.
Mayor Cracken asked me to write out a procedure for credit cards. So everybody turned both of their Walmart and their Commerce cards in. And so basically the only changes to the way people are used to doing it is that we will use with your permission, we will use the Commerce card only and not the Walmart card. Tina Butler, our city secretary, experimented for us and went to Walmart and used her tax exempt card at Walmart with the Commerce credit card and didn't have a problem with that. Is that correct? Okay. So the tax exempt card should still be valid with the Commerce card at Walmart. If there are any problems, you call our office. Or if you're standing there in line and to check out, we have to pay a little sales tax every once in a while, then we do. I put in here, again, with your permission, that the credit cards, so the department heads and one additional person designated by that department head. In our ordinance, the department heads are the designated purchasers or users of the credit card. But like for our office, Brenda has ours, there's no need for Tina and me or me to have a card. But those departments that are on the weekends, nights and all, really need that's my opinion, you need an additional card so that you've got a card available at any time. The only other change, we're still talking about the purchase order limits, and we do need those originals returned with the original receipt. That was a request that was made. Number 4, the hotel charges. Well, I'm guilty when I go someplace, and when I worked here, I don't like to go and check out at the hotel either. I like to just let them put that on my card, or I get my little thing under the door and do the speedy checkout. But I would recommend that we get the full hotel receipt back when you want to stay in the hotel. And the rest of that is basically, which we always encourage local purchases. And it was added in here that, everyone would sign, anyone that got would sign that they've read this and they agree with it, they're going to comply with it. And the last statement is, if those procedures are not followed, the credit card holder may be subject, or the credit card will be returned to the city clerk, and the card holder may be subject to disciplinary action. Again, with your approval, whenever we want to stop this, then Ms. Ellis can return those cards.
We went to Commerce because it's a better reporting system than that.
Yes. Well, Walmart has started, before when we got our Walmart bill, it would be divided out. I don't have a Walmart card, so, but it would say, Kenny Wilson, Keith Westerfield, Lance Davis, Tyler Robert, whoever, it would separate it out by person. So that if a PO was missing, it was easy to call. Sorry, Lance always gets me POs. I just sometimes can't find them, so that's sometimes my fault. But anyway, so then I could call, or whoever's paying that bill could call Lance and say, hey, I don't have a PO for this. Again, in Lance's case, it's my error on 99% of the time. What they started doing now is they just list them all. So you have no idea who made those charges, and if I'm missing a PO, I don't know who to call to get that PO because it doesn't. So I have to go to the Walmart online and look up that. Yeah, it's become a rather complicated and a kind of a lot of time spent. Most of the time, again, everybody is great to do POs, but sometimes they don't make it, or if I can't find it, or it's listed under something else. But it's just easier if we use the Commerce card. They do break it down by person using that card, and then I can, call them and say, hey, this. So, again, with your permission.
We need that motion.
We need that motion.
I'll make that motion.
We have a motion to approve the policy as stated for credit card.
I'll second it.
We have a second. Discussion. And this is strictly for accountability, just make sure the taxpayers' money is being spent where it needs to be and it's being accounted.
And at any time, when those bills are paid, on that Commerce or Walmart, let's say Commerce now, when that bill is paid, then what happens is, we get into the system, you know, by department and what it's for, so that you've always got a record of what that was, and it shows on that printout of it like a check stub, for lack of a better term. At any time, if you all ever want to see all of the charges on that card itemized, we're glad to pull that report and let you review it. So I usually keep that in a file in the office, and easy to look through.
Well, we do have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes.
Okay. Budget line item expenses with numbers, and the numbers I'm talking about are our accounting numbers that are in our accounting system. And so if you've ever worked, I didn't give you this whole list because I figured James, you had enough papers to look at. So, what this is we're gonna start with expenses only, because to the departments, revenues, or transfer between accounts, or other things that we use in our office, that's no matter to them. So they'll get a copy of these budget line items, so that takes out of the equation, I call it travel and training, somebody else calls it training and travel, or somebody calls it this, but we got something close. So, Chief Davis and Chief Wilson were around the office the other day when we were talking about that, and they talked about how they could take these numbers and key it into their system, on their spreadsheets, and then when they write a PO, they just put that number on there, or whoever's writing that PO. So if there is a discrepancy, if someone wants to go ahead and write the description, especially at first, to make sure that lady that's keying that in is getting it right, then if somebody, well, you don't see a list, but say 6,000 is 911 recorder maintenance contract. Okay, so Kenny Wright puts 6,000 on something, and then he writes dog pound project, then I can call him back and say, which of these is correct? So, I'm just not gonna just automatically post by number if a description is there, and if those two don't match. So we kind of have a little system for that. And that will hopefully make things more consistent and efficient, yes. Thank you. I appreciate you talking to me, Mayor. I need that.
We gotta help each other out.
Yeah, well,
We have,
so,
I think we need to go ahead and let's just go ahead and do it for a motion.
okay,
To accept the chart accounts,
okay,
accounting numbers
okay.
for expense items for the department heads.
And then, I will send all those out to you all.
We do have a motion, we have a second.
Second.
Discussion.
And as I understand it, that if someone submits information that does not correspond with these approved numbers, it will be rejected and sent back
Yes,
to be
yes,
corrected, right?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, yes, that's it. I didn't say that, but yes, I was thinking that.
So no one's surprised.
Yes. Well, again, if it didn't make sense to me about a number, or if it said it was a number that you thought, no, that's not what that is, then, I will not be correct in favor.
All right, any more discussion, questions? All in favor say aye. All opposed? Motion passes.
Okay, that's it.
Thank you, Ms. McGrath.
You're quite welcome.
All right, unfinished, yes,
Let
sir.
me, let me add one more thing for this being police. We just got a forward in from Digiticket, who is our electronic ticketing vendor. I'll back up. Starting Supreme Court, Missouri, in their wisdom, issued an order starting July the 1st, that all tickets, all filings in a circuit court have to have a original filing plus a redacted filing